Hello and welcome to Easy Odds Euro 2016 video. We're on day 6 now. Going through all the games on day 6. Russell will have a tip for each one. He's been mightily unlucky so far, but he's also still just about in profit, I think.
After yesterday's wins.
Yeah, after yesterday's pretty big wins actually. PK to score, 9 to 1.
9 to 1 PK score. And Spain to win to 0.
Spain to win
27 to 20.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Both teams to score, Ireland, Sweden 6-5.
Very nice.
Only Belgium let me down. My outright tips, that's great.
But the first game is Russia v Slovakia. Now Russia have just received a suspended
disqualification,
whatever that means. But I think it's if there's any more trouble with Russian fans, then they're out of here. And I mean, this looks like a trouble in the making. This game. But if the game does go ahead, what do you think the score's going to be, or what do you think is going to happen? Who are the favourites?
Yeah. Could be trouble ahead for Slovakian fans here. The Russian fans, of course, all sorts of problems. Touch wood, it's all put to bed now, and we can move on and just get on with the football. The actual part of the reason that everyone's there.
Yeah.
And the bookies have actually made Russia favourites here. Best price 7 to 5. I was a little bit surprised at that. I thought Slovakia were pretty unlucky against Wales. I actually thought that they did really well. They dominated possession. They had around 57% of the play against Wales. They had plenty of opportunities. It was only through some really good saves and blocks from the Welsh team that kept them in the game at certain points. They certainly had them on the ropes on certain points.
Yeah.
Whereas Russia played a really defensive game up against England, and you can see why, because they had a lot of players out through injury and just on the ball, they were just dreadful to watch. Russia, they weren't a good team to watch at all, but they were a good, resolute defensive team. So I'm a little bit surprised that they're 7 to 5 favourites here. It was a last-minute goal, of course, that got their point up against England, but the captain Vasily Berezutski scored the looping header.
It's horrible.
Two very different teams, so I can actually see them doing what they did to England to Slovakia, because Slovakia and England are actually quite similar in the way that they set up and play their football.
Okay.
So with that in mind, then maybe Russia are favourites because they did do a bit of a job on England. But I think I'm going to go up against the full-time result market here and back Slovakia. Draw no bet. They're available here at 27 to 20. So decent price there. Obviously, with a draw no bet, you get your money back for a draw, or you get your full stake win for a win. Mm-hmm. Russia showed with the ball on the weekend, as I said, that they just struggled to have any kind of creativity about them. There were so many misplaced passes, no real cohesion to their game. Players who are defensive players having to play a bit further forward on the pitch, and it really showed. It's almost, apart from Eric Dyer, who's a holding midfield player who can score absolute crackers. That's not always the wisest thing, and it showed. I just think that they're going to be looking at set pieces and things like that. Here for Russia, and I think Slovakia, with a bit more luck, can get something out of this game, because they are the better team in my opinion, especially on the ball in an attacking sense. Slovakia are the better team in my opinion. So I think that they were unlucky against Wales, and I think that 27 to 20 on Slovakia to draw no bet is a decent bet. And if I was going to have another little side bet here, it would actually be under 2.5 goals, a lack of goals perhaps. With Russia's kind of resoluteness at the back, I can't see them pushing forward too much. So best price there of 5 to 8, and the last 7 fixtures between these two teams, there's only been 7 goals. So you'd assume under 2.5 goals is a decent bet at 5 to 8. But that isn't my main bet, but that's kind of on the side.
That seems a bit of a certainty, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Between these two. But yeah, I like that. I think Russia were just so bad against us. They was just. I mean, we had a few. I thought Rooney was good, and a few of our Kane's obviously not very good at all. Why is he taking corners?
Yeah. Well, when a team sets out like Russia set out, then it's obviously out to the other team to try and get the goal. And once we did get the goal, unfortunately, we couldn't hold on.
Classic England.
Classic England, yeah. But if Slovakia play to their optimum, they can certainly cause Russia some problems here, and I can see them getting the draw, or even getting the 3 points. And now 27 to 20, I think, is a decent price.
I agree. Next up we have Romania versus Switzerland. Interesting little game. Who are the favourites of this one?
They've made Switzerland favourites here. Best price 29 to 20. I'm sure there'll be quite a few people that fancy that as a as their main bet for Switzerland to win after they won their first match up against a 10-man Albanian team. Albania were just so aggressive, it was unbelievable. Having a player sent off in the first half is just silly in a tournament game, isn't it? They had little chance of getting back into the game after that. Switzerland started well. They scored after just 5 minutes or so from a set piece from a corner. 29-20 looks a fairly decent price up against Romania. Of course, they're now second place in Group A, so if they win this game, 6 points, they're pretty much guaranteed to be going through, especially with the system where up to 3 teams can be qualified through to the last 16. However, Romania, they're going to have to chase this game a little bit because they lost their opening game against France, and that could actually suit them, I think. A draw here is 11-5, and a Romania win is 12-5, so there's kind of similar pricing, but clearly Romania are the outsiders here. But I think backing both teams to score here is a decent price. I actually backed both teams to score sort of in a convoluted way in their first game up against France, where I backed both teams to score and France to win the game. Yeah. And thanks to a Payet absolute thunderbolt in the last minute, that came into implement at 17-5. And I can see Romania scoring again because usually they play such defensive football, and they showed even against France that that's not all that they are. They're a really hard-working team. They're a team. They know their system and they play it well, but they also create plenty of chances. They had France on the ropes a little bit during certain times of the game. I think 3 or 4 minutes into the match itself, on that set piece, they missed an absolute sitter. So I can see them scoring again. They've actually scored, let me just check my notes here, they've scored 9 goals now in the last 3 games, Romania. So there appears to be so much more faith in their attacking force than there used to be. And I just think that the fact that Albania forced Switzerland into quite a bit of a scare, even with 10 men, they kept the clean sheet eventually, but that was through no mean feat of themselves, really. Defensively, they were a bit shambolic, I felt, and Albania had 4 or 5 gilt-edged chances, failed to take them. But I actually think Romania are a better attacking side than Albania. Yeah. So I think that Romania will score in this game, and I'm also expecting Switzerland to score because they are a decent attacking force. So I think 28-25 here, both teams to score, is a decent bet.
Okay, yeah. So Romania have turned it around, become a bit of an attacking force.
Yeah.
Switzerland, who knows? I don't rate Switzerland very much, actually.
Yeah, they're just one of those kind of middle of the road teams.
Yeah, I think they're a little bit overrated.
They may come into trouble when they hit the last 16.
Yeah.
But also kind of my eagle-eye type pick here for this game. Fabian Schär scored the winner for Switzerland in their game against Albania. Big strapping centre half from Hoffenheim in Germany. He's a worse price, 9-2, so a shy just short of 5-1. Best odds 17-2. So clearly using the easy odds comparison system, far better.
Okay, last game, evening game. It's the hosts versus Albania. We were just talking about them. The most aggressive team of all time.
Yeah.
Payet, can he score another screamer? Surely not.
Well, surely he's. If he does score, it's going to be a screamer winning that match.
Yeah. Payet to score from outside the box. That's surely going to be a bet.
I'm sure that there'll be quite a few price boosts on that. But talking about price boosts and things like that. Let's not forget that this video is sponsored by our friends Ladbrokes, who currently have a free bonus bet offer of £50. So you can bet up to £50 on your first bet, and they will match that bet. So you pretty much get £50 free, or if you only put £10 on, then you get £10 free. As long as you're using up to £50, then you can get that match back through Ladbrokes. So if you fancy any of my tips, or any tips just from your own research, or from just a pick of the pin, then use Ladbrokes, of course, to make sure that you get your free bet. But moving back on to France versus Albania. France have been made real short favourites here, 1-4 best price. I'm sure a few people will be putting them into the Ackies, as there's such a short price. It's not really worth a standalone bet, unless you go in fairly massive stakes there. But they picked up 3 points against Romania. They're now top of Group A, slightly ahead of Switzerland because they scored more goals than them in their tie. So it's a little surprise that they're 1-4 favourites. Lorik Čana, the Albanian captain, was sent off in ludicrous fashion in their match, so he's suspended for this tie. So he's a big loss. He's probably their most competitive player, well, as it showed with his red card, and also experienced player. He's played all over the place. Played for Marseille, played for Sunderland. He's a very decent player, and he'll be missed. So they're actually a massive price at 18-1, Jake. So if you fancy an absolute outsider, they're probably the first big outsider, I'd say. I think Romania were around about 14 best price, which was a big price, but 18 is even bigger, isn't it? It's the first kind of David and Goliath test of the tournament, because I'd even say that Iceland versus Portugal was not really David and as they beat Holland home and away, did Iceland in qualifying. So let's look at my recommended bet here, and I'm going to back France to win to 0 here. It's a bit of a surprise maybe, as defensively they weren't exactly great for France. Sagna, Evra, Rami in particular looked really shaky.
He did look shaky.
Fortunately for them, they have Hugo Lloris behind them, who's obviously a really good keeper. Made a really good save early on against Romania. But Albania were just so wasteful up against Switzerland in the first game. I just fancy that they won't get many chances in open play, and when they do get them, then they're going to either be blocked or saved by Lloris, or they'll just miss them like they did against Switzerland. So I think a decent price there of 8-11 for them to win the game with a clean sheet, basically. France to win to 0. Sorry, Albania fans. After seeing them play up against Switzerland, I just can't see that attacking force really getting to trouble French defence too much. But if you do want a little glimmer of hope, and you fancy that 18-1, last two matches between these two teams, 1-1 draw and a 1-0 Albania win.
Wow.
Which is pretty incredible. And
wow.
On that note, just a quick kind of eagle eye, let's try and find the best possible price differences on the Easy Odds comparison service. Ergis Kache, who was the player who scored the goal in that match, and also if you watched the first game, he was the player that came off the bench after about an hour, and his first introduction into the game was chasing down Bayrami, tugging his shorts down, kicking him twice, and then kicking the ball away and getting booked. So I really like that. He really made a big impression on me.
That's great. It's decent.
He's a best price 16-1, or a worst price 8-1 to score up against France, like he did last year. So that's literally doubling your odds for the very same selection. So yet again, further proof of the Easy Odds comparison.
I tell you what though, that is the worst 8-1 I've ever seen.
It's a pretty
8-1 that Ergis Kache is going to score against France.
Well, he did it last year, Jake.
Yeah, well, that's true. He probably will score. So I bet he'll score now.
So those are my three tips. I've got under 2.5. No, sorry, I don't have about 2.5 goals. That's my kind of like side bet. I've got Slovakia draw no bet in the Russia-Slovakia game at best price of 27-20. I've got Switzerland. Both teams to score in the Switzerland versus Romania game. That's a best price of 28-25. And I've got France to win to 0 against Albania at a best price of 8-11. Far better price than just backing them to win at 1-4.
Yeah. Aki that, and you'll be a reasonably rich man.
You'll be a reasonably rich
but
man.
not.
And who wants to be extremely rich?
Yeah, you don't want to be extremely rich, but you'll be.
You get taxed to heaven.
Exactly. You have a bit more money to spend on beer.
Absolutely. Thanks for watching the Easy Odds Day 5. Day 6. We're absolutely running out of the days here. There's so much football on. So thanks for watching. I'm Ross Casey. This is Jake Johns. Make sure you click on the watermark below to subscribe to our channel, and watch out, because Jake Johns has been on fire today with his horse racing tips. If you watch back his day 1 Ask It Tips video, you'll find how many winners in there, Jake? Not in that
particular video. Well, I had one win actually, Tepin, but I've had it's been mental.
Yeah.
It's been mental.
So
it's been mental. Look on site.
Yeah. Thanks very much for watching. I'm Ross Casey. This is Jake Johns, and thanks to Ladbrokes, we're going to make you some money. All the best.
Bye.